You got the music, Rikki?
Got the music. Are you feeling the music?
Yeah.
Is it not loud on your end?
I want a little more music.
You want a what?
Little more music.
A little more different than that? What do you want?
I like it. No, I like it. Play a little bit.
Oh, gotcha.
There was half in summer rain, sweat dripping off me before I even knew her name. La, la, la. You felt like oh la la la, yeah.
Hey, Funday. Our way, Rikki. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm feeling great.
Feeling good here in Chicago. How are you in Dallas?
I'm in Dallas. I'm in the lovely part of Dallas called Uptown, and the weather's 82.5. It's beautiful over here.
We're not quite as warm here in Chicago, but we've got some beautiful weather, and we're pretty excited about, today, pivoting successfully. Brought to you by, Rikki, all the different things that you belong to, and Pivoting in Heels. I've got the Pivoting in Heels logo behind me. Thank you so much, because as you know, this is something that was so dear to my heart. Really wanted to do something where we show people all over the country, because we've got people that are joining us all over the country, how to pivot successfully out of this very difficult time that we've all been going through, this COVID-19 period, I mean,
unexpected.
Yes, not only, not only for our country, but really all over the world. It's something that none of us expected. And so the thing is, how are people dealing with it? How have they been trying to stay positive? And then what's in the future? Kind of what are we looking at in the future? So this was very important. Thank you so much, because I know I reached out to you and you said yes. You're such an incredible, individual involved with so many different things. A leader really in Dallas, and you've done things all over the country, both on the entertainment side and on the business side. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
A part of this. And then the other piece, which, really has torn my heart when I see so many families that are out there that are, not eating because they don't have food, because they're out of jobs or everything like that. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is raise the awareness about the different food depositories. And so people are going to get to donate. I know some people already started, donating. So we've got the Greater Chicago Food Depository and Feeding America. And I know in a little while, we're actually going to have Audrey Kaufman, who's going to join us from that. But tell me a little bit about you, Rikki. What have you been up to, and how have you been dealing with this whole situation?
Well, this is my 20th year working from home. So I've been office mobile since year 2000. And I'm not saying I had any foresight on that, but it's just I've been working from home. And when this started coming on, and I had just relocated back from Miami, so I moved to Miami for a little bit, been working on a vegan shampoo and BellaGeneration Hair System. So the demand got higher for me to return, came back to Dallas. And as 2019 started kind of unfolding towards the last 2 quarters, and I started seeing the international news happening, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for this, or what's going to happen to the business world, our supply chain, the e-commerce side. So we had to kind of like make some adjustments to our strategies, but all in all, we're getting through. We're just doing a lot of video calls, conferencing, calling people we know, checking on them, see how they're doing and whatnot. And you're right, there's people out there that are just, they're in kind of in higher need than others. So we're doing our best to kind of mix in our social good with our business strategies too.
Yep. And I think the big thing obviously is also preparing ourselves, and again, as much as we're talking about pivoting positively, I do want to say that we clearly understand that there are some people that are going through really difficult times, and this may not be the easiest. And hey, you know what, if you have to take a moment, if you have to take a night or a day to not feel well, but then we
Mhm.
really want you to come out strong and in full force. And one of the things I've been doing is really looking as a businesswoman for different opportunities that are out there. It's the digital world now, right? And so, you know, we want to make
Mhm.
sure that we're prepared for that. As you know, I've even been taking classes and have been looking at business opportunities that are out there. So been very blessed that I have found some. And so I'm kind of excited about that. I think this is a great time if it's a downtime for you to be at home and take classes, prepare yourself. I love how people, you know, you're finding all these different talents that people have, right?
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God, it's been fantastic to see that. And so to find your talent, to find yourself, to go, you know, inside yourself and say, you know, what is this? Okay, take this as an opportunity to transform because the whole world is transforming.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's an opportunity for us to transform as well.
I think I was talking to a colleague of mine recently, and it's like we've kind of surmised that as the walls kind of closed in on us, a lot of our personal walls just opened up.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm starting to see that with, you know, TikTok emerging really big with adults and kids. So I see the whole generational from G all the way to baby boomers just kind of coming together.
Yep.
And it's interesting.
So I think we're ready. Do we have Audrey on? Oh, Maria's ready. She's ready to go. Okay, Maria's ready to go. Rikki, I know.
I am ready for Maria.
Okay,
So is she here? Is she there? Is she coming on?
she's coming on now. Maria Magdalena.
Maria Costa.
Connect your vision.
While we're standing by and bringing on Maria, I'm just excited about this comedian actress that we've gotten to connect over this past year or so, while her travels between, you know, LA and Detroit. So I'm really excited to see what's developing in her career, what people in that industry are doing to pivot during this time right now.
Coming in from Detroit. She's going to be joining us from Detroit.
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely a huge celebrity in Detroit, her home city. And she's got, you know, Walk of Fame in Motown next to some of the big giants, you know, Smokey Robinson and Supremes and all that. So she's had her name over there. And so it's like when we started learning more about her, we started learning kind of more about her career. We started seeing, wow, this actress has really, really jumped. So she got the comedian side, you got the actress, and you got, you know, she's featured in so many TV shows and movies and tours as well for a comedy show.
Maria, is she on with us? I think she's trying to connect. So, yeah. Well,
So
tell us a little bit about, because I'm excited about getting to know her a little bit. I mean, I saw her background and all of the things she's done. I mean, she's not only an actress, she's a comedian. She's involved in the community. You know, I love that. I mean, that's one of the things that we were looking for, someone who has, you know, that type of energy that brings to, you know, flavor for it. So how did you two connect?
well, we connected through a mutual friend who wanted us to meet with her regarding, you know, a possible deal in testing our hair product. So we've been reaching out to celebrities, just, you know, calling agents, managers, Facebook. Some of them actually run their own pages. Instagram is probably the biggest tool that we've used to help us reach out to the actual celebrity. So she responded right away and she's like, yes, I'd love to try the product. So we just said, we're going to ship you some. And she's like, oh, I fell in love with it. So we just kind of connected from there, and I started learning more about her career and where she and her manager are going in the direction of movies and film and working on a tour, which of course the production and the tour and the city selection kind of came to a stop with this COVID-19. So I'm starting to see, and I learned how she's been super creative. So she got into heavy content with her Instagram and actually running some of her content through there to give that live connectivity to her fans. And I know some fans of hers that really love her personally.
Yeah, and I think that's another example, right? I know you and I have been talking about that great product, and it is a great product that you have. And so, you know, here's the deal. Here's another opportunity that people have to connect in some way and to grow their business. And so, not only is she an actress, a comedian, but she's also a businesswoman, right? And so
yeah,
those opportunities, yeah.
and she's full control of her creative and her business world, and it's something that I think I love to see, that empowerment with women-owned businesses that are running like yourself. You're running it from the top all the way down to the runway and to the boardroom. So you do it all. So I have
to tell you, while we're waiting for Maria's trying to reconnect, and this is the other thing with it, right? This is new technology that we have and that we're trying to utilize to communicate. Yeah. But I am so grateful. I have a company by the name of AAR Tech, and we do technology mostly in this region, and I'm so grateful for our AAR team, because a lot of them have been so involved in getting, frankly, the city and the state ready. It had to be really quick because everything went down, and then people had to start working, from their homes. So there's, like myself, so many other technology companies that are out there that have really been getting the city ready, right? So yeah.
And we connected in your fashion world, and it's like I learned more about AR Tech as I went about, but reading your bio, I'm learning so much more that you have accomplished. And I'm like, wow, and the thing is, it's like you make your business and your personal seem to kind of mesh, and that's a great quality that you have about, and having a lot of friends and your colleagues kind of being in the same boat. It's
Rikki, one of the beautiful things I think about life is that I think a lot of times people think that, and I have a tech company, we have Runway Lot Next, the fashion side, which you were talking about, and I've been involved on the fashion side for many, many years. Created Pivoting in Heels because I really wanted something that specifically empowers women. But the thing is, I think we as human beings have the ability to do so much. There are no limitations. And in my mind, it all connects. It is, I feel I'm giving service with my business, with the different businesses that we have, that I'm giving a service. And that's what we want. We as entrepreneurs, I think, provide a service. People have a need, and then we connected that way. And I think if you start thinking of life that way, right, that everything is a part of the service that you bring, and then you create abundance around it. It's a happy life. It's a great life.
Well, and it's great because the people that I've been able to connect with over this last couple of, I would say, decade or two, that have really bonded and created long-lasting relationships. It's kind of like there is something very special about the Latino community, in my opinion, to where we do bring it all to the table, and it is personal to us. We grew up with this whole personal and professional kind of lives being separate, and in some occasions, in some topics you definitely have to, but for the most sense of everything, it seems like it just works really well when you kind of have both, and you have that mutual respect, and you just get along with people, and you want to work with them, and it's a model that it's worked for me, so I'm really excited about that. So are we getting connected over here?
I see Maria. Yeah, can you pick this up? There she is.
Yes.
Technical.
Saludos, Maria. Saludos.
Like I want this sound now.
It's an audio button there for sure.
There
Computer audio.
This is the fun of this, right?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And my phone's blowing up over here, like, oh, we're watching you. People are coming in. I'm like, I just want to do it all. I'm like, I can't. I
know. Keep an eye on everything. So, well, at least she's got somebody there to help her. This is a good thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. She's all over it. And no worries. No preocupes. If you can hear me, no te preocupes.
So while that's getting ready, I hope somebody has something to drink.
What are you drinking over there? Are we? Oh, okay.
This is not a promo, but I do think that it's important that everybody be drinking their alkaline water, right? I mean, we want to be pH balanced. That's
you just said the key word, alkaline.
Yeah,
you said the key word. Yes.
I think we all want to be pH balanced. There she is. Hola.
Maria Costa.
Hi, I had some technical problems, but my husband, my macho man, had helped me figure it out.
I love it.
Órale, qué bueno.
Maria, thank you so much for making time and Arabelle, you're gonna love Maria from today forward for the rest of your life. Thank you for making time to be here and to share your experience with us, because what we're doing right now, I'm pivoting successfully. We're talking to different people in the different industries on what are they doing, what are you doing during this time of COVID-19, and working on your career and different things. And we'd love to hear how you've been able to pivot during this time.
Oh, well, so many things. I'm actually getting a lot done, surprisingly. The thing with me is I love like home design. I'm actually a secret home design junkie.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I'm always like refurbishing furniture and moving things around. My husband gets mad. He's like, I don't understand that the coffee table was right here. Now you move it over here. I tried to put my coffee on the table. It's no table. What's the problem? You know, so, you know, that's like my everyday life. I'm always like moving things around and doing like feng shui kind of stuff. I love it. I absolutely love it. So,
But it works for you. It works for you. That's what matters.
yeah, I'm getting a whole lot done. I'm redesigning my office and also in the middle of writing. I'm doing a lot of writing because I'm writing a new show, actually a 4-episode, 1-camera satirical comedy special. The last comedy special I did, Macho Men and the Women Who Love Them, we filmed that live at the Kodak Theater. So I'm used to being in front of, you know, big audiences. And I did one comedy special, which is called Viva America. And that's a 1-camera show.
Yeah.
So I'm expanding on that and writing about COVID, actually. How all my characters are going to be stuck in a room, like, or stuck in a house and just all like fighting.
Oh, wow. You see? That's amazing.
Really great. All that creativity is coming out. That's really great, Maria. Congratulations on that. Have you written before?
I'm sorry?
Have you written before? Is this like
Oh,
something?
yes. Yes, I write my content. I write a lot of my content. I mean, you know, it's either that or I sit around talking to myself with different characters all day. So it keeps my husband excited, though. He's like, I'm not every day. It's always a new woman that I experience. So
Yeah,
that's kind of fun for him, I'm sure. But yes, this new show that I'm writing, it's like I said, it's about COVID. It's like all my characters all in a room and they're like all fighting over the last hot dog, or like they're tossing the coin to see who's going to go out and make the next, you know, Walgreens run so that, you know, COVID doesn't like jump on them as they're out there. So all the different characters are in there. So I'm playing with all of them, like, you know, the Jewish men.
and you know, the reason we're doing this today is this is great because this is, I'm sure, inspiring a lot of people out there with ideas, right? And coming out of this, and this is great, you've got even something that you're writing about COVID, but coming out of this, if you had a message, you know, to give to people, right? This is a new way of living and everything. What would be that message? Something that has transformed you, that you gained insight on during this period?
Well, as my 3 Rottweiler German Shepherd dogs just walked in the house, I had them locked in the room, but my husband is just like, whatever. You got to have an interview.
This is live.
This is live. Yes, but that would be one, which is to really just to connect with the simple things in life. I've been spending a lot of time in nature. So, you know, since we can't necessarily have contact with people or be too close to people, I've been spending a lot of time in nature. I liked nature before, but now I think I'm connecting with it on a deeper level because I'm really appreciating just life in general. And my dogs, like I take my 3 dogs with me. I roll down the windows and they all have their heads out the window. So definitely that would be part of the message, which is to connect with the simple things in life and to appreciate the simplicities I think that we all take for granted, you know.
I love that.
One which is,
I'm
sorry. Yes, one which is community. I think a lot of people, we just assume like community is just going to be there. Our friends are just going to be there. People that we interact with will always be around. But when you have a time like this and you're sort of in isolation, I'm pretty good about isolation though, because I'm sort of a introvert, extrovert, I think by nature. So isolation doesn't too much bother me. Like Yeah, like I'll find lots of things to do, but it's also nice to be able to go and to be with community, you know, at
Yeah,
upon your choice. So that's a part of it too. So to appreciate the people in your life, you know.
you're right. And
People
in
give-
moving forward, not to interrupt you, because I know we're like limited on time, but moving forward, what is the new normal for you when it comes to foreseeing your tour? I mean, what do you see the end of this year? Let's just go ahead and say 2021. What do you see it looking like for you as you move about?
Yes, well, the new normal for me would be, you know, touring, taking the show to many different cities. We've toured all around the East Coast just because there's a lot of Caribbeans there. So those are the, you know, the groups that bring us out. But I really look forward to bringing the show to the South, you know, taking it all around Texas, all around the West Coast, as well as Florida. So, you know, just really and yes, and you know, being in, you know, big venues. I mean, we've done like the Kodak and things, but doing that consistently, you know, anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 seat venues and selling them out.
Cool.
So, you know, that's exciting, and just really bringing the message of, you know, multiculturalism to other people in
Correct.
diversity. Like, because I'm of mixed race. I'm half Hungarian. I'm half Cuban. So that's a very unique, you know, experience. It's like,
Yes.
you know, the Cuban side of me likes to eat pork, and the white side of me likes to invest in pork futures. So, you know, it's complicated, and I'm a complex person. I think the world is headed towards that. You know, there are lots of other mixed race people, and even if you're not mixed
Right.
race, I think we can all start to learn how to appreciate the similarities as well as the differences that we have in our different cultures. So that's the message I'd like to start bringing all around the world with my tours.
I love
Well,
it.
well, thank you so much, Maria, because
Thank you, Maria.
this has been a pleasure of ours to have you here with us today. And before we let you go, you did mention to me on the phone the other day you are looking at returning to Chicago, right? That's Airborough City.
Chicago, I love Chicago. I love the
All right.
Puerto Rican.
We're waiting for you.
Dime, mama. What?
We're ready for you. So just come on in. We're ready. We're ready.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I heard all about your fashion event. It sounds absolutely amazing. I love Fashion Week. I actually go out to LA. I was out in LA last year for Fashion Week. He told me that your Latina Fashion Week is absolutely amazing. So I would love to
Runway
rock
Latinx
it.
is fabulous. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gracias
Besitos, abrazos.
a ti, Boricua. That's a shout out to you.
Thank you so much. Bye, ma.
So
Thank
Rick,
you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank
Ciao.
this is so great.
I
And
like turning
This is
thing
amazing.
yeah, that was
This is really
fabulous.
thing
Fabulous.
trying to
And
make
then
that
I know now that we've got Audrey Coffer who's going to join us. I know that one of the things we've been talking about is the Greater Chicago Food Depository. And it's my understanding that, you know, you see the link right on there. And so is she with us? Yep, she's ready to go. Okay. Let's see. And we're
You still back there moving a little bit?
there she is.
There she is.
Audrey. Good.
Hi.
Hi, we apologize. We, you know what? Not too many people have done this. We certainly had it. And so we're all kind of figuring out how to come on board, but I'm so glad that you're with us on this Sunday. I know you're so busy doing angels work. So Audrey, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
Yeah, you've got people watching you not only across the country, very honestly, but we've got people also coming in from Latin America, from Mexico. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's really, really great that you're here. Tell us a little bit, you know, I was telling Rikki, this was another reason that I wanted to do it, and he was on board, as was everybody else who's going to be on today, that we're having such a huge problem now that there are so many people that don't have enough to eat. And, you know, you're working, I think you said, with 700 organizations just here in Chicago.
Yeah.
You also got up Feeding America for those of you that are not in Chicago and would like to donate there, although you can donate to Chicago all the time too. But tell us a little bit how everything has changed with the work that you're doing and what you're seeing out there. Please share.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So the Greater Chicago Food Depository is Chicago's food bank. So our mission is to provide food to hungry people while striving to end hunger in our community. So we have 700 year-round partners that help us get food to where it needs to be. So these are places like homeless shelters, food pantries, soup kitchens that we deliver the food to, and then they in turn serve it to the community and where there is need. So on an average year, about 630,000 people in Chicago are food insecure. So that just means that they're really unsure of whether they'll have enough money to purchase food, or maybe it is that they don't have enough money to purchase food and they're really uncertain where that next meal is gonna come from. And so last year we did about 62 million meals to the community. And so
Million, did you say?
62 million, yep. 62 million. So the need is great already. And so when COVID-19 hit, it just has increased it so much. And we're still in like the beginning stages, but the people that we serve, usually they're about just one paycheck away from losing it all. And now they've lost maybe 5 paychecks. And so they're really struggling. And so our programs are really to take hunger off the table, and so they could focus on paying for those other bills that they need to keep their life going. And so the pandemic has really increased our need I think right now it's about 50% increased. Wow. And so in the coming months, we only expect it to rise until it can level itself back out, because there's people that are furloughed, people that have lost their job. The people that we're seeing that are getting food from our partners are a different demographic than we've ever had before, because they're people that have never had to use any type of food assistance programs, and they're needing that service right now. And so we're just doing everything that we can to respond to that need. One is just making sure that our partners have all the food that they need so they could respond to the need. One thing that we're doing is, this is the first time we've ever done something like this. We announced a couple weeks ago a $1 million grant program to all of our partner agencies. So they could apply for the grants, and the grants are about $1,500 to $5,000 each, just to make sure that they're getting the funds that they need to keep doing what they're doing on the forefront. And about 60% of that money is dedicated solely to our partners that serve African American and Latino populations. Just because already before the pandemic, those communities are disproportionately facing food insecurity challenges. And we just want to make sure that, especially during this time, they have all the access that they can to healthy, nutritious food. And it's just keeping them healthy and really responding to the pandemic. So
thank you so much. That is incredible. And it's sad, I'm telling you, and I've seen it across the country, not just in Chicago. It really has broken my heart. And how I know donations, and we've posted that up and pinned that up on the Facebook so people can go there and donate. But are there other ways that people can help you as well? Can you tell us a little bit what that would be?
Yeah, so like you said, money is the best thing. If you donate $1 to the food depository, it helps us provide 3 meals. We have really strong relationships with suppliers, and we buy our food in very bulk quantities. That keeps the prices super low. And so for that $1, we could buy so much more. But also there are different ways. So right now we also need volunteers. So all of the manpower that we use to pack the food in our warehouses and get it out to our partners are volunteers. So we have, I can't remember the exact number, but I think we had, here I could actually pull it up so I don't speak incorrectly. So we have 18,000 volunteers that dedicate 82,000 hours a year. And so we have volunteer shifts specifically for the pandemic that are twice a day, 6 days a week, where the volunteers, it's about 60 volunteers per session that come and they pack the food. And so it's a number of things. We're packing different things for different partners. Some partners, we're packing individual food boxes for families. So they're ready to go boxes that have like pasta, peanut butter, beans, tuna in it, that partners are just handing out to families that need it. We're also doing our traditional food that we generally give out. So they're packing fresh produce, or they're packing rice or beans and pasta and giving it out to partners. And it's our volunteers that do it all. And we've been fortunate that people are still coming in during the pandemic, but you never know. We still have weeks where our numbers are looking low and we have to do a lot of calls to action. So people will sign up for shifts and come in and help us do what we need to do to keep the food out and going to our partners. So that's a big thing as well, volunteers.
Go ahead, Rikki. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Rikki. Nice to meet you. And thank you for your service and all the things you do for Chicago. I'm in Dallas, and I hear a lot about the North Texas Food Bank, and I'm wondering, is there a collaborative that's gone on or thought of done with the Restaurants Association and you guys, or the grocery store chains that have all this excess food that gets tossed out or thrown away?
So it's actually super tricky right now because we generally have super strong relationships with the restaurants, with the grocery stores, but because the restaurant industry is hit so hard right now, we're not seeing a lot. We don't get those donations that we typically get from them. A lot of them are really responding to taking care of their employees that are out of jobs right now, and that's good because if people are getting fed, we're happy. Grocery stores are a little bit different. Generally, that's where we get a lot of our donations of our fresh produce and that sort of thing. But that's also been a challenge just because of a lot of the different issues with supply chain right now. It's really complicated for a lot of people to keep up with the demand in the supply chain. And so we're not seeing a lot of donations from that either, which is rough because that's what we usually get. So we're buying more food than ever before. And so that's really why donations are good because we need it to keep buying the food that we're giving out to our partners.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. We really appreciate it. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, and just one last message. I know we've got another guest that's coming in, but if you want to send out one last message to everybody, what would that be?
That would be that right now, food insecurity is really top of mind because what's going on. But I would love everyone to, even when the pandemic slows down this fall or this winter or like next spring, to know that 1 in 8 people in Chicago are food insecure and go hungry on a daily basis. And so the need is always there. And so a lot of people are thinking about food insecurity right now, but I challenge them to keep thinking about it and keep helping when this is all over.
Thank you so much. You heard everybody. Take on the challenge. Audrey, yes. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
For the work that you're doing inside and out. We love you. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
Bye.
And thank you so much. Rikki, I know we've got Jose Sanchez coming on now. I know I'm excited about Jose. And he said he put a little music on because we got to make this Sunday Funday our way.
He wants to hear a little Sunday Funday. Okay, I'm going to get it a little upbeat. Bring him on.
Let's see. There he is.
Hello.
We see you there. Let's see if he's
I just tilt his laptop down a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Let's see. So Jose Sanchez, many people here in Chicago know him. He's president, chief officer, CEO of Norwegian American Hospital. He's also such a leader. I know, Rikki, I was telling you all about him and you've seen his bio, but he's such a leader here in Chicago in many different ways. You know, he's being an advisor here lately to the mayor, to the governor. You know, he's somebody that I really look up to. We serve on a board together, the City Club of Chicago, and you know, got to know him even more there, although I consider him a close friend. So I was really happy that he was able to take the time to be here with us today. Although I don't know, Jose, can you hear us? Are you good? Let's see. I think you might want to unmute your
Audio.
Your audio. Let's see. We do it from here for him, do you think? Yeah. Let's see. We're going to try to do it from here. Let's see. If we can do that. Let's see, Jose, do you think you can do it from there? At the bottom, just unmute it. There's a little mic on the left of your screen. We can see ya. Here, can we do this? Is that it?
What about now?
There we go.
Yes.
Yay.
Very good.
Very
Okay.
good. All right. Yes. You might want to lower your screen just a little toward you so that we can see you completely. There you go. We can see. There we go. I think we can see you better now, right? Yeah. It's funny. I tell him to do it and I do mine and then nobody can see
I'm watching that.
Well, Jose, and I really, I really want to thank you for being here today on a Sunday, and want to share. We would love for you to share a little bit about what it's been like to be the president and CEO of a hospital that's in the midst of such a difficult, time. I think you, as a leader, both in the hospital and in the community and in Chicago as a whole, your leadership skills are something that a lot of people should emulate. But tell us, Rikki and I were talking about it, and we can't imagine, how difficult this must be. You've got people that are working 24/7 under some of the most difficult conditions, seeing people sick, die. How do you keep them going in such a difficult time? Tell us a little bit about, what you've done to keep the spirits up, because really what we want to talk about today is pivoting positively. And what have you done to have your team at Norwegian Hospital pivot positively?
So first, let me, out of Ellen, Rikki, let me thank you for the opportunity to chat with you today and participate in this forum. It's been a pleasure. Actually, of course, Adavelle, you and I work together in a number of boards. But, I have been a CEO for the last 30 years, and I will tell you that these are really unprecedented times. I never seen anything like in my career. In regards to a total shutdown of the country and also locking down the hospital, creating a single point of entry, and taking all of the precautions that are necessary. The biggest challenge for us is basically managing the workforce. As you know, especially those who are in the front line, taking care of the patients in the emergency department on the floors that we have a number of COVID-19 patients. It is dealing with daily demands of more protective personal equipment, which everyone is competing for it. Trying to get the gowns, the glove, the mask, the shields, and burning all of this pretty quickly. We get an order today, and a couple of days later it's gone. As you know, it's constant changes of all of this equipment. And then we have the issue of the psychological impact of this. These are individuals who come into work every single day, putting their life at risk, which makes it very difficult. The level of anxiety that brings not only to themselves, but also bringing that home. Many of the staff every single day are thinking about, am I going to be okay today? Am I going to be fine in a couple of days? Am I going to bring this home? And then around them, there is a reality where you could see individuals who have become sick, who have been in quarantine, people that they work with on a regular basis, and they see every day. And what worked, and I think it has worked, is basically our full commitment that the priority of the hospital is the protection of the people who are working in the organizations. And I have made that a priority. And I have made that a priority because it will be very difficult actually not to make that a priority, simply because if those individuals get sick, they will not be able to treat those patients that are coming into the hospital. So we send ongoing communication about how much we call them PPE, which is personal protective equipment. In a single day, we even list the quantity. We also have been able to create a hotlines. So if someone has an issue or concern, they'd be able to call that. And that is that balance. I mean, for me, I go to work every single day. And I deal with the psychological impact and the demands that exist to be able to manage the organization effectively and manage the people and provide the support that they need. But I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, it's pretty, sometimes I walk through the halls of the hospital, hallways of the hospital, and I get stopped by employees, and they say, listen, we don't have this, we don't have that. And I take the time to listen to them. I encourage everyone to talk about their fears, encourage them about their concerns, about being exhausted every single day, individuals wearing masks, all of this protected equipment also is another burden in the hospital. But it's quite challenging every single day, and every day is totally different. I have instituted daily briefing, 10 o'clock in the morning, where we go through census, how many patients do we have in the hospital, how many are COVID patients, who is alive, who didn't make it. We talked about protected equipment. Finances is also a great challenge. As you know, all of these hospitals are functioning perhaps 50% of their capacity. So we have no elective surgeries. Our outpatient services practically 30%. Inpatient is also down. So the financial impact later on is going to be as bad as the virus later on.
I think, you know, some of the things you said seem to me to be applicable in a broader way, right? Because you've been dealing, number one, communication. It sounds to me like that's key, both in the hospital and I think within our city, within our state, and across the country, you know, communicating, I think, fears that people have to deal with. How do you see this moving forward? Like, what direction? And I know that, you know, we keep hearing all these different timelines, but I know Rikki and I were talking about what's the new norm that you see now coming out of this. If you could give us a little bit of insight.
Well, I think it's going to be different, and I think that people are going to be continues to be scared. They're going to continue to be cautious. I think that I don't foresee coming to some level of normality anytime after this. I think that we're going to have to do progressive adaptations to a new lifestyle where we are going to, every day we are going to, we cannot do the things that we used to do. The businesses will continue to be challenged for everyone. The economy is a major concern. You know, we over 30 million people unemployed in the country. Many of the businesses will never reopen. The issue of social distancing will continue. And I encourage everyone to do that because the only way that we're going to prevent the spread of this virus is basically by actually keeping social distancing. It's also about protecting yourself, following the state, the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control guidelines of having mask and glove. I mean, this has become actually the norm, which is using all of this protective gear. So you have to, if you leave the house, you got to put this one of this. This is another, always wearing glove. I have here disinfectant. You're going to have to be able to do this. For someone like me, every day in the morning, I walk out of the house with.
Yeah.
I walked out of the house every single day with a mask, glove, and one of these bottles here, and I disinfect my car. I wiped, the seats, and then from there, then I proceed to go to work, and this is an ongoing basis. Coming back home is also another issue. I know one of the issues that you wanted to talk about is how do you protect yourself. Yeah. So you also have a home, you have to create what we call a hot spot. So that when you enter into your home, especially someone like me, who is exposed on a daily basis to this virus, when I walk into my house, the first thing that I do is I take off my shoes, take off my clothes, and then I go and I take a shower. And that is every single day because I am a high risk person because I work in an environment that there is a significant number of patients with the coronavirus, but also a high risk to others. So I try not to get close to anyone. For example, the lady who has been cleaning the house for a very long time, I said to her, I cannot allow you to come into the apartment simply because she has a couple of kids. They are small. And then I need to protect her. So when we talked about trying to work on avoiding the spread of the virus, all of us needs to actually have that level of responsibility to ourselves and to others. So these are some of the things that I think is going to be the norm moving forward. And I don't believe that all of these things are going to change really overnight. It's going to be a tough call. I mean, as a matter of fact, when I was actually preparing some of my remarks for this interview, one of the things that I was going to suggest to you, Aravel, and to Rikki, is to create something that will be more post-COVID-19. What life is going to be post-COVID, but I also wanted to recommend something more than just that. I believe that we need to also focus on the psychological impact that this has created on everyone, not only in those individuals who are working in hospitals, but it's to all of us collectively. How do we deal with all of these issues of social distancing, protecting ourselves, protecting others? So we're going to have a lot of discussion of how do we manage all of this at the end of the day.
I agree with you. I know.
That's great.
I was talking to Rikki a little bit and just saying that, I miss hugging people when I see them, right? I miss the close contact and everything, and that has changed now. And one of the things, the reason for doing this, pivoting successfully, and you're right, there's going to be a lot more that is going to be needed, is just that we really need to figure out how we're going to deal with this, because it's been a whole mental change, a whole psychological change. And it's going to affect the way I see people now on the street, and where before I would go and hug them, you know, by distance, I'm a little bit afraid. And so how we're going to deal with that, it's a brand new world. And I think that's got to be an ongoing discussion. The other thing, and I know, Jose, you're so involved, and I know our time is almost up here, but one of the things I want to say to you is that, and I think that's very important, is that our young people are really getting affected by this. You know, I mean, even kids that are 15, 16, 17 years old. Can you imagine us when we were 15, 16, 17 years old being locked up in our house for that long of a time? And a lot of them are very afraid. And so I really think that that's also something that we really have to take a look at and deal with and help them deal with it, because we don't know how to deal with it. They definitely don't know. And so it's something that we all have to work on together. Thank you for
Yeah,
that area.
you know, Aravel, that's a great point, the one that you're bringing up, because I have a couple of friends that have teenagers, and actually I have been on the phone with them because they want to go outside, they want to play with their peers, and the parents has called me to put them on the phone to tell them what are the risks by doing that. So it's really very real. But here was the problem is going to be. Some of those restrictions will continue to be there. As we're doing much more testing, we are really finding many more cases. Yesterday, testing by the Illinois Department of Health actually identified an additional 3,000 plus cases in the state. And for example, we at Norwegian American Hospital are the testing site for the west side of the city in Humboldt Park. We began testing actually last week. We had tested several hundred people already. And I will tell you that 80% of those that we tested are actually minorities, primarily Latinos, and 50% of those test results came back positive. Wow. That's a major health concern and health issue for the Latino community in our city. And I think we're going to see those numbers increasing as we really go along. So the fear is going to be there. The social distances needs to be exercised. The protections of ourselves and protecting others is going to be there. This is not going to go away anytime soon, and we got to be ready for the next phase, which is what I call post-COVID. And that's something that we're going to have to really address and continue to work with our community and working with our families, working with our teenagers, and even for the elderly. I mean, as you well know, the majority of the highest death or mortality is among people who are 60 and over, and especially those who have have comorbidities or what we call underlying health conditions like cancers, diabetes, high blood pressure. Those people still will need to be confined in their homes to protect them. So that also creates another problem, because it's the social isolation, especially at a time that you are in advanced age when you need to stimulate your thinking, be able to exercise, stimulate your brain. It's going to be some great challenge ahead of us, especially those of us who are in healthcare at this time.
Well, thank you so much. And I guess that's an invite that you've accepted for us to talk about post. Yes, can we say that? Can we?
Absolutely, I will be there for you, the two of you.
All right.
We have to do a post one. We have to. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, a pleasure. All the best and stay safe.
You as well.
Yes,
thank you.
As well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you so much, Jose. This was really, really
wow.
insightful. I mean, you know, we're getting ready for Fernanda. now, Rikki. So I think she's right. There she is. Hola, Fernanda. How are you?
You gotta excuse me. I got a little merengue thing going on over
Got
here.
a little music for you.
Trying, you know. We
Good.
wanted. Thank you so much for coming
Fernanda,
on.
she hears it. Let me see. Let me unmute it. There we go. Can you hear us okay, Fernanda? Let's see. Let me see.
I
Now
think it's
can
the
you hear us?
mic audio.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There you
Now
go.
can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
You hear no merengue. She just heard me, saw me moving around.
I know I'm new at this stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm learning. How are you guys?
Good. How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. Muy bien, I'm good. It's so nice to see you guys. I feel like I haven't been in contact with people, and this is just at least something, so I'm happy.
Yeah. No. You know what? We wanted to do this, and I consider you a friend. I follow you. I'm a big fan of yours because I
Oh.
think you've got such a great personality, and I love Fernanda. I was telling Rikki because she speaks her mind, you know, which
Oh.
Of course.
but I
Good.
think Rikki
Good.
wanted to know a little bit about the show that you were on, right, Rikki? You wanted to know what
I wanted to know.
90 Day
Yeah.
Fiancé was about. So
You want to know? So basically, the show is just about, you know, an American person then brings another person from other country to the States, and the process of the immigration process that, you know, it's they give you 90 days to get married, and the cameras follow you through those 90 days, because it's very hard. Like, you know, you don't leave your country, and then you never leave your country before you do, and then the culture shock, it's hard. So the drama, and you know, it's very interesting, but at the same time, you know, it gives the people like an idea of how hard the immigration process are, and what people is you know, are willing to do for love and change your entire life. So it's really interesting.
But the good part about the whole thing is that it did get you to the States.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you're in a completely different place. I was telling
Oh.
Rikki, she's a completely different place, no longer married.
No.
And now you've become this, I mean, I'm sure you always were a wonderful person, but you've become this
Thank you.
incredible person who's doing
Appreciate it so
great
much.
things and has such a fabulous life, I think, in front of you. So I'm
Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely, it was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge being, you know, everything was new for me. I didn't know my rights. And unfortunately, when you first come, you don't have rights. You don't actually you don't have permission to work. You don't have permission to drive,
Right.
to do anything. So it's hard. Like, some people take advantage of, you know, that you're innocent, and then you don't actually, you know, people control the situation. So, but at the same time, it definitely was an experience for me to grow and to get where I'm at right now. And I'm very happy. I moved to Chicago after I separated a year ago, and it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I got to meet people like Arabelle's, which it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
and she was fabulous in Runway Latinx model. But tell us how you've been working through this crazy period of time of COVID-19. I mean, you're young. You're what? 21,
Hungry of success.
She's like waiting for this to get
Yeah,
over
I
with.
know. Okay, so, well, you know, Bridal Market. It's a huge event in Chicago every year that got canceled. So, which means a lot of work got canceled for us. That was very unfortunate, because, you know, in the end of the day, I am dependent, and I pay my bills, and I have to look up for myself, and I've been doing really good, and I thanks to my grandpa, who teach me how to administrate my money, I am good with it. But at the same time, like, I don't want to spend all my savings in this. I want to keep making money. I want to keep, you know, following my dreams, and it's just a little bit of sad. And you have all this energy, all these ideas, all this you know, hungry of
Yeah.
success and grow, and the situation seems not help. So it's very sad.
but you keep dreaming, which is so
Of
important,
course,
right?
I am. Again, like this is I try to take the positivity of every situation. Even there is certain situations that suck, and there is very hard to take some positivity of, but I find how. And like this time I've been like reading a lot, I've been working in my inner self, I've been working, you know, meditation and working out and getting my body right for swim week. So hopefully swim week doesn't get canceled in Miami. So at the same time, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I get a little bit sad at the fact that I don't have my family. You know, a lot of family has their families around, which it helps to you to not get, you know, depressed or bored. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I noticed, and today we've been asking people to donate, right, money, because we're seeing that there's so many people that are going hungry. So we were asking for Greater Chicago Food Depository and Feeding America. But I know you're from Mexico and you've been looking kind of a bigger picture. And we have people on also from Mexico, because I know
Yeah.
the whole world is going through a difficult time. And I heard you the other day, you were doing something very special. I know you're on Cameo. Maybe you want to tell them what that is and what you were doing with that, because I just
So
thought that
yes,
was really great that you were doing that.
thank you. Well, I was talking to my mom. I tried to stay in touch with my family as much as I can, and my mom was telling me about, you know, the economy in Mexico is it's really bad right now. That, you know, in my city, I am from Guanajuato, Mexico. That it's central of Mexico, and the economy, you know, it's not the greatest. And right now, of course, it's bad because in el centro, in the middle of the city, there is a lot of people that sell homemade stuff and like handmade stuff. So like candies, like different things, and they're making their living day by day, selling products of the people that goes outside. So now with this quarantine, it's impossible for them to make a living because nobody is outside and they cannot buy or like sell their stuff. So my mom was like very sad. She told me about this lady that she was like, she saw her, like it was an old lady then sell cacahuates, and she was selling cacahuates, and then there was nobody buying cacahuates, and my mom drive through like a couple times in different times, and she was just like, I wish I could help her, because those are people that, you know, are older, they don't have the physical strength to work and an other or look up to other options, you know. I think a younger person has at least better, you know, better opportunities to make a different income, but these people are not. So I was just thinking that, you know, also the dollar, the economy is bad. So the dollar, $1 right now is around to 23 to 25 pesos, which is, you know, I'm trying to take the positivity of it. And I'm like, okay, so
But you asked people who follow you on Cameo, right?
Yeah, okay, so from my platform, what I did in Cameo basically is just a platform where people can request like personal like videos of myself, like saying, hey Fernanda, can you say happy birthday to my sister? Can you wish me a good day or something special? And I made the video 30 seconds, a minute video of, you know, happy birthday, hope you have a great day, and I do happily of it. And I chose to that money that I make through cameos, I would donate it to Mexico to help the people that, you know, have this problem. So I agree with my mom. I will send the money to my mom, and my mom was actually handing the money to the people and send me videos of, look, we're doing it. And I really do appreciate, you know, the help and the support from people, because they request cameos, and it was a win-win, you know, they got their video and I got the satisfaction of helping. So it's working.
I love it.
Amazing. Love the idea.
Yeah,
Love the
because
idea.
this is a time for all of us to be helping each other in one way or another. And I think, again, it's if anything has come out of this, hopefully we're a little bit more unified as human beings. So thanks so much for doing that. I know we've got to wrap up, but give us one message for the future, you know, coming out of this, you know, give us a message of hope in some way that you can come to us with. Because I gotta tell you, while you're thinking of it really quick, I gotta tell you, Rikki, like, I love looking at her, because when I don't want to work out, I go and I look.
Well, I'm gonna be at Miami Swim Week again. I go like each year to Miami Swim Week.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Well, we should
as a media
connect.
source. Yeah, I went on a media
That's
source. I was
awesome.
invited one time for the front row, and I did a blog and a feature story on Swim Week. So
That's really cool. Well, we maybe can do
fly
something
down there
together
and
this
support.
year. For sure. I love Swim Week. My first Swim Week was last year, and I had an amazing experience. My model agency, they told me, you know, go with low expectations. This is your first one. You have to, you know, learn from this, and then next year you can come more prepared. And I was just like, okay, but I'm gonna make it. I am gonna make it. Then I worked for 4 designers, and I got you know, campaigns, and I was just like so happy because it was my first one, and I actually did good. And I'm positive that this year is gonna be even better. So my message definitely will be to everybody to realize that we are our own judges and our own motivators day by day. Do not expect anyone else to do it for you. You go for it. You every day wake up and realize what do you want, because happiness comes from satisfaction of solution of problems. And anxiety comes from not like resolving problems. So how do I say this? So to me, just I find my happiness by being productive and pushing myself and working every day to get what I want to get. And as you see results, you want more and more, and you keep doing it. So yeah, just that, push yourself and be positive. Stay strong. This is gonna be done soon. I hope so. I manifest it.
Fernanda, gracias. Gracias.
Gracias a ustedes. Nos vemos pronto, ¿ok?
Manda un beso. Chao.
Bye.
Gracias.
Ciao.
Thank you so much. That was great. That was fantastic.
I tell you what,
it motivates me to work out all the time. I know. And I work out.
The post-COVID workouts, they're on their way soon. I tell you what, I'm ready.
And so now we're going, I know you're getting the next one ready. We're going toward Miami, but a couple of people I want to shout out to. Chef Dudley, who is an incredible chef. He works all over the country, says hi. Jennifer Turan says hi. And I want to mention that Mi Tierra, who's in the Little Village area, for every meal that people purchase, as long as they come and pick it up, they're donating a meal to somebody.
Oh wow, that's wonderful, Kenton.
That's really fantastic. Yeah.
Amazing.
I think we're all ready for Ceci now. Come on in. So, see, I think. Thanks for being patient with us, Ceci. I don't know if she can hear us, but everyone's in Miami.
Time to get down to Ocean Drive.
Yep. We see your picture, and can we hear you, Ceci? Are you gonna come on live for us? Let's see.
I think it's connecting.
Yep. A gorgeous pic, by the way. I like it. I can't wait to go somewhere.
You know,
we're ready to travel.
I mean, I was there for a year, and I'm telling you, being by the beach is pretty much everything if you make time to go. I was doing this all the time, so I spent a little time.
No, you know what? Even when we've had the fashion week there, it's been a little crazy because we're always working.
Oh, I remember that. That was at the in Brickell. I remember that.
Yeah, always working. Let's see. She's there. She's connecting.
Yeah, she's connecting.
Well, this has been fun so far.
This has been amazing, and everyone has a very interesting perspective, and it's amazing. Here we go.
I see her. She's coming on board, connecting to us. Let's see, connecting the audio.
I see our monitor back there.
You can see us. Hey, we see you.
I think she's looking for the audio button, microphone.
Audio.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yay.
Oh, good.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. coming in from Miami. Yay.
Hey,
How are you doing?
we're, we live in paradise. What can I say? It's one of the best places to be holed up if you have to stay home. My view is the ocean, and we're here and it's gorgeous, but everybody's itching to get back outside and go back to work.
Yeah, and Ceci, you're in a special place because you're the executive director, Ocean Drive Association, which is business. It's restaurants, it's bars, it's a lot of different types of businesses. Tell us a little bit during this very difficult time how that has been managed and how you're working, with those groups and kind of what you're doing.
Sure, the hardest part has been all of the employees that are out of work. The governor of Florida opened Florida except for Dade County, Broward, and Palm Beach. So there are places in the county that are opening and we're not. But it's going to be a different day. It's going to be a different way. I was listening to Jose Sanchez and from the hospital, and he's absolutely right. Going to a restaurant and opening Miami Beach is so much different than opening a small city in the Midwest. We have to be really careful, right? Because it is Miami Beach. They've already opened the park somewhat, and we're just getting swarmed with people coming out to the parks, and they're really not following a lot of the rules. So it's going to be a big culture change, and restaurants are going to change from the way that you are used to be opening or being at a restaurant. They're opening at 25%, right? 25% occupancy. So the problem for us is that that's not really a viable business venture. If we only open at 25%, these restaurants won't be able to make their rent. They won't be able to hire and 25% means 25% of the staff come back to work, and that's it, right? So there's a lot of different challenges. We're hoping that we look at different dynamics. Maybe we can close the street. We can expand the cafes into the street for at least the beginning to relaunch. But we need to expand the real estate for social distancing. And social distancing is such a counter-indicative word of what we are, because we're socially intimate, right?
Yeah.
The fun party capital of the world. And we, what we make money from is people being intimate with each other, right? So restaurants first, hotels, bars and clubs are not even on the spectrum of opening. They don't know how they're going to open and maintain some kind of social distancing and protectiveness when it comes to bars and nightclubs. So we won't be seeing that. Special events we won't be seeing for a while. But restaurants, we think we're on the cusp of being able to open. I'm also on the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association board. So we're hearing from the state and what their protocols are going to be. Jose Sanchez said something that was really important, which was the fear that people have. Yes. So it's not even just following the rules, because you're going to have the state rules and then the county rules and then the city rules. You're going to have OSHA rules, right? You're going to have employee safety that you have to deal with. And you're going to have employees that say, I don't want to come to work unless I feel safe. And then you're going to have to then look at the customer perception that you're a safe place for them to come. So you're going to be seeing like disposable menus, less touching, disposable menus, being able to pay with a touchless credit card. You're going to see people, actually I've seen this already in other places in Europe, they're sanitizing the utensils at the table. Oh, wow. So the customer sees that the utensils are being sanitized. They're giving you straws so your lips never have to touch a glass. Those that can are changing their faucets and things in the bathroom to motion detective, right? So that you don't touch, all of those things. I actually saw, and they built it here in Doral, and a friend of mine has that company. It's a door frame. It's almost, think about going through a car wash. It's a door frame. And when you walk through the door frame, it mists out the antibacterial mists. I see that used more back of house for staff. I don't really know if people are going to feel comfortable walking through something that mists them. It is hypoallergenic, but we might get there. It's a new normal.
They're doing some of that now actually in Mexico. I think I had mentioned to you, and I think it was Monterrey, Mexico. They have like igloos that people go through and they get a slight mist. It takes like 30 seconds and then they board on public transit or they go into buildings. And so that might be a new norm. I just mentioned Chef Dudley that, you know, is on, I think, watching us, and he does all kinds of work across the country with a number of different chefs that I'm good friends with. And I know one of the conversations we were having is training. It's, you know, you're going to have to train people in the industry on everything that's new now and how to serve and how to package. And, you know, it's going to be the whole new way, not only of doing it, but you've got to train these people to do it. So that's like a whole new opportunity, but difficulty that you're going to be having to face with all the people that you deal with.
Interestingly enough, the CDC has said masks and gloves. The National Association of Restaurants are saying no gloves. So they're saying don't, for the staff not to wear gloves. And that reason is that people don't know how to use gloves. Unless you're changing them every time you change your station or what you're doing, you're cross-contaminating. So, and it is all about training. And it's also, they would rather you wash your hands more often as wait staff, hostesses, bartenders, whoever. They'd rather have you wash your hands more often than wear gloves, that you have a false sense of security. And so you touch everything. You could be touching money and then you could be picking up a plate all at the same time. You could be picking up something from a customer and cross-contamination. So we have to train already. We have to train already a lot. You know, they have the food servers, they have to have their training, and it's like quarterly. The bartenders, the Department of Health has to do all of that. But changing the mentality and the culture so that those staff isn't just like, oh, I have to do this. They have to understand why they're doing it. And like even the 6-foot distancing at the grocery store, people they give you a dirty look because you're not close enough to the line. Not that it makes the line go any faster, but they kind of give you a dirty look. You're having to remind them, I need to be 6 feet away, right? So, and then I have people crowding me, and I'm putting me in my cart in between me and somebody else, because it's a whole mindset. The hardest thing in life is to change culture, and their culture is ingrained, especially servers and people that have worked in restaurants for years. It's going to be really hard for them to get it.
Well, Rikki and I were saying, I haven't been to Miami for a while. I miss seeing you, but when we go down there, I mean, it's going to be a whole different world then, just like all over the country. First of all, I can't wait to travel. I've been afraid to travel, you know, because of getting on planes with so many different people. And so, and I've been, you know, pretty strict following it, but giving us a message going forward, you know, kind of your vision of, and you talked about, you know, restaurant and bars and things like that. But what, if you kind of had a vision for the way we're going to have to deal with this going forward, say 6 months to a year from now, what do you see?
I think we have to have a big public education, and I think the public has to get behind it. I think we all have to get behind it and have a campaign to know that you're not only protecting yourself, because a lot of people are risk takers and they're like, well, I don't care, I'm not going to get it. You're protecting everybody. And it's not fair to the employees if you're a risk taker, because they're there to make a paycheck and they have kids and parents to go home to. So listen, somebody told me the other day, we all hated the idea of seatbelts, mandatory seatbelts too, but it took us a while and we did it, right? Yeah. So I think it's getting in everybody's mind that we have a responsibility of taking care of everyone. My 82-year-old parents are here with me, so I rarely leave the house. I follow the protocols that Sanchez was saying. I've got a hotspot at my door. I go to the grocery store and I wash everything. I have other people that they don't do any of that. And it's not in their head. They think it's kind of like, this is going to pass and we're going to go back to normal. We have a new normal and we have to pivot. We have to change our mindset that the new normal is going to be different and you're not going back to what you used to know.
Yep. Fabulous.
I think this is wonderful. And I see everybody moving forward. I could see us just having these conversations, just what we're going to go into and how we're going to actually get to the new normal, and having discussions on an hour or two just on that, just to get people in different parts from LA to Miami to New York, Chicago, Dallas, where I'm at, and just make them understand and see this is just for your benefit, that we move on and move on sooner and safely. So love your points.
Love you, Ceci. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy, and thank you for us in Miami, because we are going to get there. I love the beach. Thank you. Love you much.
Bye.
Hey, I know we've got our next guest that's coming on. And our next
We'll see you in Miami.
Yeah, soon.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
We won't stop the party. Won't stop the party.
No.
Never stop a party in Miami. Hey, I want to say hi to a few people. I know Lonnie's on. She's actually in London. Lupita and Peter, a very close friend. And then a close friend of mine, Hasoon, who I've got to tell you, one of the ways that I've survived is that we have a girls' night in that we do once a week.
Very nice.
Hasoon is a part of it. Edith, Beata, Fatima, who can't be on because she's a nurse and she's working, and Hasoon, and so the whole group of us, I think I mentioned Edith, right? Yeah, so we all get together once a week, and honestly, we do this, we get online and we share stories, we share a couple of drinks, and we actually stay on for like 2 hours.
You know what? I think that's going to be a new norm. I think it's going to allow us. People aren't using their video services and our tech as much as we have afforded to us. And I think now we're going to get into that as a norm, to get together when we can't get together. So
yeah. Hey, now we're going to LA.
Let's go to LA.
Chelsea Rendon. My God.
We're dancing sometimes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't know if you can hear the music. He wants.
For some reason, I can't hear you guys. Hold on, let me see if my volume's up.
She can't hear us for some reason. Let's see. Can you hear us now? We can hear you.
Don't know. No.
Nope.
What the heck? Okay, hold on 1 second, because I can't hear you guys.
Okay, we can
I
hear
don't
you.
know what's going on. Sorry. One momento.
Okay.
While I try to figure this out.
No worries. I love
Getting
it.
warm over here. Dallas is like almost 90 over here.
Is it? Really?
Yeah. I'm not doing a strip show. I just got to get rid of the jacket real quick.
We need some music for that.
Well, let me turn.
I got
Hold
my
on.
jacket. Right. Drinking my icy glacial water, you know.
Alkaline water, correct?
Electrolytes. She can hear us now.
Okay. How do I do this thingy? Switch.
Oh, I think she hears it now.
Can you hear us?
I want to get out to LA again too. We had so much fun at the Boulevard.
Too. I've got so many friends out there in LA, and I
Remember
can't
the Boulevard 3 nightclub?
Guys, Sora. I mean,
Yeah.
the airlines at least are doing some things now, so it makes it a little bit easier to fly and to travel. So that's really good.
Very good.
I've got a million masks now, and all kinds of different colors from different designers, and so I'm ready to.
So while she's getting her audio corrected, so black belt, really?
Yeah, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo.
Seriously?
You didn't know that? You've known me for so many years.
I didn't know that. I read your bio, like I thought I knew, and it's like, oh, mother and daughter. Black
Oh my
belt.
God,
Like,
thank God I finally hear
There
you.
she is. Hey.
all right. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh my God, hi. So sorry. I don't know what happened. I couldn't hear you from my actual Mac, so I have to put my AirPods in.
Hey, well, I'm glad you're on from LA. How are you?
I'm good. It's a little hot.
Yeah.
That's what Rikki was saying. He's in Dallas, and he was saying
Yeah, it's hot out here. Air conditioning's on early, but it's hot out here. It's like.
Oh yeah, no, we've had the AC going with our fan too to keep it like circulating.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm in Chicago. We finally have a perfect day. It's like 68, 69, which, for us, that's like a heat wave right now. So we're happy. Hey, so I'm so excited. Rikki and I was telling him about all the things that you've done, and then he sees your photo, and then he sees that it says that you've been acting for 20 years, and he goes, What?
Wow.
Yeah, I started when I was 6 years old. So this year's going to be 21 years.
Wow.
Or this year is 21 years.
You just had a birthday, right? Didn't you just?
Yeah, March 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like the last little hurrah right before the quarantine and the official like stay-at-home order started.
So what was your first acting job?
My first acting job was in a commercial when I was 6. It was for like a lawyer, and it was in Spanish. So it was like that Larry H. Parker sort of thing, where it was like the white guy with curly hair, and he was like, "Todo para los niños." And I remember being like, "It's todo para los niños." Like, and I corrected him every time. And the director had to have my mom come be like, "Don't say anything, just like smile." And then so I would just be like, and I finally did it right. But I was like, "No, it's todo para los niños." Because he was, of course, speaking like all broken, todo para los niños, because he's a white guy speaking Spanish. So it was hilarious. And in that commercial, I was supposed to be handicapped. It was supposed to be like the doctors made a problem while I was born. So I was like paralyzed from the waist down. So they had me like in a little pool with like just moving my arms and stuff.
Okay.
It was a fun, actual little experience.
Obviously, you liked it. You got hooked.
Yeah.
Chose that as a career. So that's really.
Yeah. It was, so I had booked that, and then I did a photo shoot for like a newspaper, like a fotonovela. And then I booked the lead in a feature film, No Turning Back, that won the Alma Award for Best Independent Film in 2001. So that really jumping into the deep end and being the lead of a film where you're working 20 out of 22 days, was a big thing, which I don't remember how many days. I'm just using those numbers, but I was pretty much on set every day, and I had rehearsals with the director who was also playing the lead. We were rehearsing like every day and for a couple weeks leading up to filming. And it was just a crazy experience. So that, my mom says, when she saw me in rehearsals and like at the final table read, is when she thought like, "Oh wow, this could be your career." Before, she thought it could be a fun hobby. And I've loved it ever since, and I haven't stopped.
And I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad.
How's it been during this COVID-19? How have you been pivoting to like work on your future here? What things have you been up to?
Well, technically, as an actor, watching TV is research. So I've been doing a lot of research.
I love it.
No, really, I've been such a couch potato, but I've also been, finally busy the second month, starting with press for Vida since it started airing last week. And then, just kind of having ideas. I'm trying to like mentally start being like, okay, start treating your body like a temple, because I don't treat it like a temple, to be ready for when this is all over. The only thing is that like once, businesses come back into play, it's still going to be another month or two before, Hollywood can really get back to work, because every production is minimum 100 people, and, you're having all these people come here and then they leave, and then you don't know what they're doing out in the world, and then they come back the next day. So I know, Gloria, one of the co-showrunners for One Day at a Time, was talking about we need like daily testing, possible like on location, like quarantine sort of situations, because also as actors, there's hugging, there's kissing, like there's, intimate scenes. So it's like, how do you avoid that? Especially I feel bad for the scripts that are already written, because
yes, exactly.
Then you have to rewrite so much and you have to restructure. But I keep telling, like, I'm friends with a lot of the people from Gentefied, and I'm like, have you guys got the pickup order for season 2? Because it would be so smart to have you guys start writing it now, so that when this is over, you guys start filming and they have content coming out, but they haven't heard yet. But I'm like, come on.
but do you see?
That's gonna change everything. I mean, really, and I'm thinking the same thing. Like romantic scenes Are they still going to be as romantic? I mean, how are they going to work around?
There's gonna be a lot of fights on TV coming up in the
Yeah,
next season.
it's going to be
Oh, it's
right. Yeah.
no, and that's what they talked about, like shooting scenes, like if you're supposed to be sitting on a couch, like close-ups, so you get each face separately, so you don't need them all sitting together. But like it would just look so weird. So I really don't know what's gonna happen, and I really hope, you know, something gets dealt with and that we have some sort of, if not cure, but vaccine or something, so that we can go back to work and it be normal and not have that cloud of, oh shit, I can't touch you, or oh, like I feel like, especially as actors, so much just happens in the moment, like that instinct of like, I'm gonna touch your hand, or like I'm gonna touch your face, like as a caressing moment. Like a lot of those things happen in the moment, but then how are you gonna go, never mind, we're gonna touch you, you know, like it would be hard. So I'm positive, like I have a positive mindset about it, but I do have those like moments of like, oh man, like I'm having a hard time just being at home, or like, you know, I'm like, what am I doing to feel productive to my career? So I'm gonna reread the acting book that I use called The Power of the Actor by Ivana Chubbuck. That's the method that I use, a substitution method. So I'm gonna reread that.
Okay.
And, you know, just to kind of feel like I'm productive, and then just take it step by step, day by day, and try to be ready and do the best I can.
No, I love it. And you know what? I really wanted you on here. So we got to meet because you were here in Chicago, right? You were with Carlos Miranda, who plays your brother on Vida. And
Yeah.
Two amazing individuals. But I love you also because you're very vocal, you know, and you use your passion. I love that. I love that. And you use your voice, you know, which I think is very important. Tell us a little bit about Vida, because I love it. I was hooked for a second. This is your third season, and I know that it aired last week, and I watched it, and we want everybody to watch it. But tell us a little bit. Again, your character is so full of energy.
Yeah. Well, so the show centers on two sisters that move back to Boyle Heights when their mother dies, and they have to take over the bar and the apartments that she owns. Then they find out she was married to a woman, even though she banished the older daughter Emma away for being lesbian when she was younger. So there's a whole like thing going on there with family and LGBTQ. And then my character is an activist in the neighborhood that is against gentrification. And these two sisters are whitinas gentrifying the neighborhood. So I'm against them. And then to top it off, the younger sister, Lynn, had an on and off toxic relationship with my brother. So I hate her for being a puta.
Carlos.
You know, so that's Carlos. So there's a lot of dynamics in it, and like so many storylines. But the beautiful thing is all the storylines are very universal because everybody deals with grief. Everybody deals with love and love triangles and family issues. And you're dealing with gentrification one way or another. Either you're seeing it or you're a part of it or you're against it, you know, like, so that's the beautiful thing about the show. And my character being a badass, chingona activist who definitely fights for what she believes in. And season 1, she thought things were very much black and white. Season 2, she realized there was a gray area. And season 3 is her coming out of that and then what's going to happen. So I'm really excited, especially today's episode. It technically dropped on the app last night at midnight, East Coast, 9 p.m. LA time.
No me digas todo. Don't tell me.
Yeah, but it's yes, you have to watch it. It's a very powerful episode. And so far I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from it. And it's something that was, when you watch it, you'll get it. It meant a lot to me. So I'm really glad people are appreciating it and connecting to it. No spoilers.
I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us. So I know it's on tonight. It's on Stars, right? People can download it.
Yes. So if you can watch it on the Stars app, if you download the app by itself, and then you can also watch it if you have the channel. And then if you have the channel, you could download the app and log in with your like cable information, so you don't got to pay double. The episodes always drop Sunday, which is technically midnight, but 9 p.m. West Coast time. So they were available last night. The second episode was available last night. And our next episode is next Sunday, episode 3.
And then
So we air
that,
weekly.
I know that right after you're leaving us and later today, what time are you going to be doing Instagram?
We're live tweeting at 6 p.m., which is 9 p.m. when it technically airs on the channel.
So it's 6 p.m., but you're in LA. So
yes, 6 p.m. LA, 9 p.m. East Coast. I get so confused with the CT and the PT and the TT and the BP. So I always say, like, I'm LA time, 6 p.m. You're New York, that's 9 p.m. That's all I know.
So definitely catch up with Chelsea. Watch her. She's amazing. I know you got this incredible future. And as soon as you can, you got to come visit us here in Chicago.
Yes, no, that's actually what I'm working on next. What I'm working on next is a romantic comedy that I'm producing, and also, oh yeah, I said I'm heading to Chicago soon because I'm producing and starring in a film that's set to shoot in Chicago. So we officially got the money, but then this happened. So I got to figure out when, timing wise, it would work out to be out there filming. So I'd be out there for at least like 6 weeks. So we could hang out on the weekends when I'm not filming.
All right, I love it. We'll do the social distancing, but we'll do it in a fun way. We'll figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good one. Stay safe.
Continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, Rikki, so we've had a lot of people watching. Just want to shout out to Nancy, Rodriguez, Michelle. I know Michelle's coming on pretty soon, Alegria. And Ruth Diaz, who's part of that group that I told you that has helped me to survive this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Also an actress. Terry Arvesu, who's at Univision. She's like one of the top people there. We're so happy. And Myra Khan, who also serves with me on Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I got to tell you, as a businesswoman, Illinois Hispanic Chamber and Women's Business Development Center just do such incredible work, and so a shout out to them for all of the
that's wonderful. That is wonderful
that they do. And we've got a friend of yours that's coming on. That's in my area of tech. Close friend of yours.
He's a big fan of Cuban salsa music. So let's see if he pops on.
Coming on. There he is.
Lo Bamban. José Marquez-Leon.
Bueno, empezó la fiesta, como dice los Bambán. Ay, llegué yo. ¿Cómo están ustedes hoy? I can't believe you guys have been talking for so long.
We're not through yet. We're going at midnight.
Oh my God.
We're going to keep going here. Oh my God.
You guys are doing good. All right.
Hey,
Jose.
I got to just
go ahead.
I was so impressed. National President CEO Tech Latino. You're in MySpace, Latinos Information Science and Technology Association. Wow. Like, thank you, Rikki. Thank you for connecting.
No. Pleasure's mine. Jose got a bio. It's like a series in Netflix. No, you have to go from page to page, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday pick out another part of his bio just to keep up with him.
Yeah, it was like a book.
Bueno, what can I tell you?
Talk about your days of tech. You're like Mr. Tech in the old school days.
You know, I mean, look, the past is the past. We can't talk about all the things that I've done because we'd be here way past 20 minutes, and you guys only allotted me 20 minutes. So, you know, I'm sorry, I can't make that happen. But just think about this: when there was no internet, I was there working on the internet. So I've been around for over 30 years now, working on different kinds of computer systems and network infrastructure. And one of the things that I used to say is that I was very lucky that I was there at a time when nobody was into technology. They didn't even know what technology was. It wasn't on the horizon. It wasn't anything. It was just there. So some of us were lucky enough. I think I was one of the top 6 engineers that worked on the Sprint PCS network. I'm an implementation engineer. So I used to climb poles. And so since I was the only Latino and African American at the same time, I covered 2 quotas, which was what, you know, was cool. And whenever I needed to give myself a raise, I would say, hey, AT&T, I'm looking for a job. I speak Spanish. Boom. I was there. So every now and then I got a 10,000 if I didn't like my boss. So that was the deal. So, but not everybody was as lucky as I was, because this was a very, very closed business, an industry that was only for the certain few. If you talk to my mother, she won't know what the heck I am. I don't know. She knows that I play with computers, but that's what it is. It's not a game. Computing is not a game. It's a way of life. It's a necessity. It is everything that we have thought about, and here it is today.
And it's so important today. Jose, I was telling Rikki, because my company's in tech, and you know, tech is so broad, right? There's so many different parts of tech, but we got in, and I was so grateful really for the people that work for me, because a lot of those individuals that are in tech are the reason that we're able to function right now with what we're going through, right? I mean, otherwise, you know, they got the cities up going and the states, and then a lot of the businesses. So business is booming in that particular area, but you know, it's a tough industry. I can tell you as a woman who's in tech, it's a very tough industry, más Latinas. But tell us.
There wasn't that many. I mean, look, there was less Latinos, right? And there's even less Latinas in this business. But now things are changing. We're very lucky that we're in a different world now, that, you know, we started to talk about Latinas in tech in 2007, 2008, and we started showcasing Latinas at our event who were doing things. People like Nina Vaca and Roseanne DeRuthi, and all these power women right now in technology. I mean, Roseanne is number 5, I think, at LinkedIn. She's the head of diversity.
Yeah.
And we, like her, I can mention a whole bunch of people that were just starting their careers when they met, you know, their silent partner. And that's where this organization, Lista, has been. It's been the silent partner to many. And we've helped a lot of people become who they are now. And I'm blessed to be able to say, nosotros hemos sí, y echamos nuestra granito de arena, ayudando a toda esta gente.
So tell us about, go ahead, Rikki.
No, go ahead, everybody.
I was going to ask about this COVID-19 period, and if you could share with us a little bit of how you've seen tech. I mean, I just mentioned a little bit of it, but how you've seen tech play such a part, and then looking toward the future, you know, what you see coming with that.
Well, the great thing about it is that right now we're proving to everybody that technology wasn't just a nice to have, it's a need to have. Everybody should be working computers. Everybody should understand not only what a computer does, but how to create opportunity on your computer so that way you don't ever have to be in a situation where, oh, the government has to give me $1,200 so that I can survive for 8 weeks. No, we need to be able to learn how to do, you know, be engaged in what you know, I call it digital cotton picking when I see people like this on their phone all day. They know how to do this, but they don't understand. They're making other people rich, but they don't know what they're doing as far as what is the course of action I need to take in order for me to be part of this technological revolution. If COVID didn't happen, it would have been something else. But right now, if it isn't for the internet, if it isn't for of ours like Comcast and Internet Essentials, giving kids all their hardware and internet access so that they can be doing this. I mean, during the lunch, the kids that don't have lunch get $10 for their internet. That's unimaginable. So Comcast has been good. Verizon has been great. Univision has been amazing when it comes to talking about technology and they're a real great partner. These are the partners that we have, that we've been lucky to have for the last 20 years. And they have been there, rock solid, steady, making sure that the Hispanic community caught up with the digital divide and made it into digital opportunity.
And the question I have here is like, you're looking at the work that you've done and the work that your team is doing. How is artificial intelligence becoming at least attainable by the average end user?
Jesus, Ricky, you just touched a very big deal. Let me tell you, right, we're a conference organization, right? We have conferences. We have 4 conferences every year. We just finished doing our Washington, D.C. conference in Washington, D.C. 300 people showed up. It was a wonderful day. And all of a sudden, I had people from the cybersecurity forum that were part of Homeland Security, FBI, Department of FEC, and the FCC. 4 of the top cybersecurity guys in the country were at my event, and we were talking about this. And all of a sudden, the thing happened that they said something was going to happen. There was a lot of chatter online. There was something happening in China that could affect the world.
Wow,
and
when was this?
This was February 26th. So I haven't seen the streets since February 26th, which for me, it's driving me crazy. Oh. But guess what? I got a nice house. I sleep a little bit. I do my work, but we had to now think about how do we pivot in order to continue to do the work we're doing without missing a beat. This whole thing really caught me, cause, hey man, look, I love my job. Every day I wake up every day, I have an opportunity to meet, some of the best technology professionals in the country, some of the best government officials in the country, and they for some reason they listen to me. So I appreciate that, but you know what? I miss shaking hands. I miss, saying hello. I miss not getting on a flight and being able to go to Las Vegas or Silicon Valley or Albuquerque, which we had an event in Albuquerque. I had to cancel my May 7th event, my Albuquerque event, my Silicon Valley event. So there's no Tech Latino at all, except for being online, doing things like this. This is genius. We are lucky to have an organization that really believes in the beauty of what Zoom meetings are.
You know what? We're as we wrap this all up. I want to bring you back on again because what I'm wanting to do is get this message of the post-COVID world that we're going to live in, and it's not going to be truly post because it's going to be a new norm. We're going to have to utilize whether it's Zoom or whether we're using other platforms. In order to monetize what we're doing.
This is a time right now for people to think. Number one, educate yourself. Get yourself some training. There's 5 hot fields right now that you need to be into. If you're not in it, you're not going to be in it. So if you need to re-educate yourself, if you need to do something, you need to get involved in some sort of group. We just launched an online training on big data, business intelligence, cybersecurity, and your favorite word, Ricky, artificial intelligence. These are things that are crucial to the business world now, because, hey, I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of the things that are happening, but there are so many crazy things happening with, people getting hit. Listen, I got hacked, and I'm pretty good at this. So you're not just a small business guy, somebody who has a small place on 34th Street and Broadway, and he's selling hamburgers, and all of a sudden, all his computers go down. His POP down, everything, all his database is gone. Because now they're just looking for assets. They're looking for more things that they can get so that they can sell it. Dude, for me to get hacked, those guys got to be better than I am. And they proved it.
You know what? What I want to do is that, the gentleman that we brought on from the hospital, Norwegian hospital in Chicago, we're gonna get him on, and we're gonna designate a show just on how to live with COVID. No, we're gonna do a separate one on tech, because all these are all essential areas that they're going to require more time on, because I'm going to touch base on how we get people involved more in STEM and how we get them protected. And we're going to go in depth on VPNs and how to get people get more involved in VPNs and designating their own networks and avoiding hacks. But to say that, I'm not going too deep in it. I just want to spend more time with you on another day. But I want to thank you, Jose, for being here, because you and Arabelle are going to be talking after this. That's
you and I have to talk. But
well, we've got a lot of things we got to do. You know, I mean, we got to show people how to pivot, man. This is not something. I mean, imagine if you're doing something for the last 23 years, and all of a sudden, your whole life is cut. They said to me, "You got to stay home, Jose Marquez. What are you going to do now?"
Yeah. And so you got to learn. And thank you so much for being on this with us, pivoting successfully. You gave a lot of great ideas, and we really, really appreciate it. So you've got to come back. Your organization is Pivoting in Heels, and we want to open it up to all these ideas that people have. So thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, hermano.
Well,
New world. Gracias.
You guys, listen, stay well. My last thing to everybody is to stay strong, be brave, be true, endure. We're going to get through this. But when we do, we have to come back even stronger. We've got to we have to know more else, porque somos Latino, and we have to lead the way.
That's right.
You got it. Muchas gracias.
Peace.
Peace. Thank you. You know, I've got a couple of other people I want to mention. I know Jaime Viteri was on, or may still be on. Carlos Herrera, Natalie Salazar, good friend. You've met her before. She is very involved with a big thing called Pisco Fest here. Natalie, love Natalie. Jeffrey, and my daughter is on, which is so nice. She's watching, and I know she's especially watching because Alina, hola, ¿cómo estás? She's especially watching because of the next individual that we have coming on, Michelle Alegria, which I'm, very excited about. She's a traffic reporter here on Fox 32 in Chicago, but I've known her for so many years, was involved with us when we started the Fashion Week many years ago, then left to go to LA and was working there, now has come back to Chicago. She's a mom, beautiful individual. But what Alina is also very interested in is she's, does yoga. And I think we can bring Michelle on. And my daughter's apart from a black belt in Taekwondo, she's also a master in yoga. So I know she really.
Oh, wow, look at this. Here we go.
There's Michelle. Let's see.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
Really, really good. Thank you so much for being with us here on a Sunday. I was telling Rikki, we've known each other for a long time, but I've been following, everything that you've been doing through this really difficult time. And I believe in being very positive. I mean, I think that's such an important thing. To try to even look at this difficult time, and what are the positive things that can come out of there. But I have to tell you, kudos to you, because I mean, apart from everything you do, you're a mom. I was just saying my daughter's on because she's my daughter's very much into yoga. She's a master in yoga too, so she wants to watch you.
Oh no, she's gonna call me out because I am not a perfectionist. I'm not a professional. This is a hobby for me, and this has been seriously my medicine of choice to help me stay sane, stay focused, and get rid of all that chatter that we all have in our head, right?
Yep. And especially, one of the big things for me, I know we talk about the tests and the medicine and everything else, but one of the biggest things I believe going forward, and I know that I've been working on, and I think everybody else should, is you've got to build up your immune system. And you've got to do that with good diet, with getting the right amount of sleep, the right amount and kind of exercise. And of everything I've read, one of the best types of exercise that you can do to build that is yoga. I mean, there's nothing like that. So I was very excited that you could take the time. But before we get there, you're a mom and you're 24/7 with the girls. Tell us a little bit about that and how you've been able to manage that. And
how much time do we have? You know what? It is a blessing. I have to tell you, I am probably one of the few people that I'm really appreciating this forced slowdown, because I am a mom. I'm a single parent. my 3 kids, I have a 16-year-old, Sophia, a 13-year-old, Fiona, and a little boy, CJ, and he's 10. And their father passed away 2 years ago. So I was in survival mode 2 years ago. 5 days before I started at Fox, we buried him. So it's been a really challenging past few years for us. But one of the lessons I wanted to teach my kids is we just have to keep moving forward. I have the privilege of still having my father, and I'm in my mid-40s, so I can't even imagine what they're going through, but he was my best friend. He was my partner. We were divorced, but we decided when we divorced that we would still continue to be the best parents we could be for our 3 kids, and teach them the values that we grew up with. His parents were immigrants. My parents were immigrants as well. And we wanted to instill those family values, those core values in our kids. You know, divorce in our family was very foreign. So we did the best we could, but I lost him 2 years ago, and it's been tough. You know, I work in morning news, so I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and my 3 kids basically have to wake up. I have somebody that helps get them dressed and gets them moving in the morning, but it's not like having a parent, right? It's not the same. So for me, this has been a kind of a blessing, because since he passed away, since their dad passed away, I haven't been there in the morning, Monday through Friday, to make pancakes for them. I haven't been there to just, you know, talk them through some challenges that they may be going through. So for me, this has been really quality time that I've been able to spend with my kids. That's not to say that it's not been stressful, because it is. It's stressful, especially explaining it to children. The unknown, that's stressful. The everything that's going around on social media, even on TV. It's hard to sift through what's true and what's false, right? What's fact and what's fiction. So we try not to watch too much TV, try not to spend too much time on social media, because it could be toxic, especially to young kids. So, you know, I think that this for us has been, you know, it's obviously scary. We don't know when it's going to end. We have some kind of target dates that we're looking forward to, such as May 30th in Chicago is when the stay-at-home ban is going to be lifted. But, you know, this is our new norm. And hopefully during this quarantine time, we've all learned a valuable lesson, you know, to maybe take time to take it easy, to have a day of rest. I think that's really important. For me, I'm constantly on the go, you know. I wake up again at 2 o'clock in the morning, I go to work, I come home, I do everything a parent does, laundry, grocery shopping, you know, sign the kids up for soccer or whatever kinds of activities they have, and then pick them up, make dinner, and then go to bed and hopefully get some decent sleep, which for me, it's non-existent. Typically, I sleep about 3 hours a day and then show up at the station at Fox 32 at 3:30 in the morning.
You sleep 3 hours a day and you look the way you do. You always look so beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, goodness.
You know, us Latinos, we age. We have that blood. Right? My dad looks like he's in his 20s, and he's like in it, almost 80. He doesn't like when I say that, but he looks good. It's, you know, it's all about our genes, our Latino genes.
It's in our genes.
It's most definitely a mindset. I can see that balance, you know, and of course through yoga and then proper eating, nutrition, and then life experiences have led you on a path to where you just have balance. You figured out how to make it work.
Yeah. How many years did it take? Mid-40s, don't forget. So you know what? I think it takes a lot of life experiences, a lot of challenges. Change makes you stronger, right?
Yes.
Setbacks, disappointments make you smarter and wiser. But I learned all this through my mom and dad, you know. They immigrated here from Querétaro, Mexico, and they were hard workers and still are very hard workers. and they support me along with my 3 brothers and their kids. I learned everything from them, and it is a blessing. But you know, it is again a scary time. I don't want people to think that I'm sitting there eating, you know, organic quinoa and all these healthy foods 24/7, because that's not realistic. You know, sometimes we just go through a drive-through and eat some fast foods, whatever works for you, you know, whatever works. So kids aren't looking for a perfect mom, they're looking for a happy mom, and seeing my kids happy makes me happy. And same for my parents, you know, all they want is to see their kids happy.
And I think that's such an important message now, because with what we've gone through, I think if all of us strive to try to find happiness in even the most simple things, you know, because I think we used to take those for granted, the very simple moments. And if we try to find happiness in them, that will make all of our lives so much better. You know, looking forward, what would be some of the things that you see? What is your vision for moving forward as a society, really, that you see us going toward, or that you would like us see us going toward?
I don't know about you, but I have tried to go out at least to get some air every day.
Every day, I do too.
Okay.
Every day.
So while I do respect all of the rules that are in place to keep everyone safe, I think it's so sad that when you're walking, right, trying to get your exercise, walking down the street, and you see someone else coming towards you, they immediately, you know, cross the road, don't make eye contact. I think that's so sad. And I will be so sad that coming out of this has not only distanced us, it has ruined the fabric of our society, right? Where we're supposed to be together. We're afraid to get in the elevator with somebody else. We're afraid, you know, that to me, I'm worried about that. But I think that coming out of this, what we can learn is we are all one. We're all the same, right? Right now, we are all in the same boat.
From all over the world.
All over the globe. We are all one.
Yes.
So those who thought they didn't have the best world, you know, before Corona,
yeah,
we're all coming out of Corona the same. So starting off the same, right?
Yes, I agree.
A major reset for sure.
Major reset. Yeah.
Well, as we're wrapping up, and I really want to thank you for taking the time. I do want to say that one of the things that you brought up, if we can leave a message for everybody, well, 2 messages. Number 1, you know, if you're out there and if you have a mask on, then at least smile with your eyes, you know, but if you see somebody, if you can't hug them or be close to them, at least show kindness. I think if we can move forward with that, I think that would be such a great thing. And I know we want to thank everybody that was on with us today. Pivoting in Heels, please find us and send us messages what you thought of this, if you'd like to see more, because, you know, we really would like to hear from you. We're on all social medias, and we really appreciate that you were on with us, pivoting successfully. I know that. Just tell me, how often are you doing yoga? Are you doing it every day, or?
I'm trying to do it every day.
Yeah, which is.
I'm trying to get those Madonna arms. You know, those chiseled Madonna arms. I'm trying to get there. But again, I'm not perfect. I'm learning every day. And for me, again, it brings peace and calmness to my life. And it's not only a good workout for your body, helps keep you fit, but it's good for your mind and it's good for your soul. So that to me, without sounding cheesy and corny, but it truly does for me bring peace, because it's the only time out of my day that I don't have noise in my head, right? The kids asking for something, or even at work when you have your IFB and you have noise in your head, and then even when you're laying yourself and getting ready for bed, you're hearing all the noise in your head, like, what do I have to do tomorrow? What's going on? What did I do today? Like, constantly. So the yoga is that one time in my day where I can just be still and just have peace and quiet. within
So
it.
important. I meditate. I'm trying to get back into the yoga. You've been a big motivation for me to get back into the yoga. Although I have to tell you, I've tried some of the poses lately and I have to practice.
It's all about stretching and moving. And this is the thing, we've been forced to slow down and be still and be basically locked on lockdown. So a lot of people aren't moving as much as they were when they were going to work, when we were free to go anywhere we want. So I think it's so important to whatever you do, if it's yoga or if it's just turning on the music, right? Turning on the radio, turning on the TV and listening to your favorite music and just moving. I think it's so important to move and to force yourself to smile, right? To smile, even if you're having a bad day, just smile and trick your brain into like everything's gonna be okay.
I always tell people smiling is the best thing. I'm in business, but smiling is the best thing for business and for your health and for everything else. You know, finding that happy place, like you said, whichever way you find it is important. I'm gonna say hello real quick to Pablo, Santiago, Maggie Rivera, and Fred Gonzalez. There's a bunch of other people that were watching, but you said you would, and we're gonna be ending this. I know, Rikki, you wanna give a quick message, and then I think, Michelle, you said you were gonna share with us a couple of poses, and then we were gonna.
Yeah, your daughter's gonna call me out because I'm not an instructor. I'm not.
No.
You wanted me to show you some of my favorite poses and basic poses. I'll show you two, and maybe you guys can get up and do them with me. I don't know, but
oh, wow.
I got a dress on. A nice one. Post. We're gonna do something post-COVID, so by then I'll be ready. I'll be dressed for it.
Come on, Erin, you look amazing. Stop it.
You're
look
so
better
sweet.
than ever. I've been wearing my hair like this, seriously, either down and all messed up or like this. And it's been so nice not to have to take on the makeup and wear the
I know, it's so like you can,
dresses and not, you know, and leave the Spanx behind and the fake eyelashes. It's been so, you know what I'm talking about.
it really is. All of that has been peaceful in itself. So Rikki, are you gonna maybe play a little music, and then we're gonna say namaste to everybody as namaste. Thanks everybody who's been on with us and who stayed with us, and all the individuals that were on from across the country, pivoting, showing us how to pivot successfully.
There you go. Yoga number 2. I just wanted to tell everyone to just invest into their immunity. I'm really big about it. People usually say it costs too much money to eat healthy. I said, no, it costs too much to not eat healthy.
That's right.
The costs are way higher. So invest into your balance, your mindset, and smile from the soul. Everything from there is just, it's abundant. You can have what you
Smile
want.
is one of the best things you can do. So, Michelle,
yes.
you and oh my God, he's so handsome. What a handsome young man.
He's pretty cool. You guys, can we show them how to do the tree pose? Tree pose. Everyone could do this. Standing up straight, right?
Come on, Arabelle.
Actually,
See,
I think you can do that pose very well.
That's it. Yeah.
See, that's me right there. I'm falling. That's me. That's me all day.
That's okay. It's all work in progress. It's not, there's no right or wrong way to do yoga. It's all a work in progress. You can lean on the wall, right? Yeah. But anyways, dance. I like the music. Like it.
So namaste.
Namaste. Bye, guys.
Namaste.
Bye, guys. Mwah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, Arabelle, I mean,
we did it.
did it. This is a remix of The Hustle. I was like, I gotta hear something right now.
We have fantastic people on, and so many different ways of looking at this. But again, it's going to be a new norm. It's going to be a whole new way. And as both Jose's actually, offered to come back, because I think it is post-COVID, and how are we going to be pivoting successfully through that?
Well, I mean, like I said, I think the new norm is actually going to bring us to where we could have been all this time. This is the most time I've ever spent with you on a video conversation in the decade or more since I've known you.
Yeah.
You know, we go back to your shows here in Dallas, to Miami, to Los Angeles, and back and forth all over the place. And it's like, we've had this kind of access for such a long time. And I think the new norm is a mix between the virtual and the real world, and just staying more updated with each other across the board. I've been calling people left and right on my phone, just surprising them with an actual phone call. Imagine that, you know, and just, I think that's the new norm. I think it's kind of got us back into a place where we've overlooked for quite a while.
Well, thank you, everybody. Please don't forget, let us know what you thought of it. Send us messages on Pivoting in Heels. We really appreciate it. Don't forget the depositories, the food depositories, to try to help give some donations to that, because there's a lot of people that are going hungry right now in our country. So don't forget to do that. And Rikki, thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah.
And don't forget, everyone, wear your mask everywhere you go, even if they don't require it. Just do it for everyone else.
I've got my mask in my purse, because now, especially in Chicago, you know, if you're going into a location, you have to wear it.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do. You
It's
know,
the right thing to do.
It's not just about ourselves. As we said, it's about thinking about ourselves and everybody else. If we take
Correct.
care of ourselves, then we'll also be taking care of everybody else. So sending you much love. Don't forget to smile. Share the happy.
Producer, thank you to the producer. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
The person you kept seeing over here with me on a Sunday, she's gonna give up as my assistant, I swear.
So how can people follow you? How can they reach you?
Pivoting in Heels, and then if my personal is Arabelle22 on Instagram, and then obviously on Facebook. You've got it now.
And my Instagram is Rikki Rincon, and then BellaGeneration Hair System. So
Yes.
please follow, support, and let's collaborate.
And let us hear from you. Thank you. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.